Welcome to More Than Renovating, a renovate and real estate podcast. Our founder, Belinda Smith, talks to industry experts to provide you with the knowledge and information you need to make renovating for love and profit your reality. Belinda will also chat to some of her Renovation Mastery members, who are just everyday people doing extraordinary things, following their passions in the renovation and property space. So, let's jump straight into the episode. Enjoy.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Belinda Smith from Renovate and Real Estate, and you are listening to the podcast More Than Renovating. And you know, there's many moving parts to a renovation. Today I have the lovely Anne-Marie Rayner. Anne-Marie is from Dreamscape Renos. You can find her at dreamrenos.com.au. And Anne-Marie and her husband Stuart are experienced renovators. They do this full time. They're working on an amazing project at the moment in Umina. It's a big, big house. What I've identified through working with Anne-Marie over the last couple of years, really, is her insanely good ability to find bargains. So we talk about the moving parts of a renovation, and, you know, obviously the buy-in's important and the property you're working on is really important. But how you deck out that property and all the fittings and the fixtures, those expenses can really run rampant and set our budgets on fire. So Anne-Marie's the master of finding a bargain. So I thought her and I would spend some time today sharing exactly how and why and where she sources all of her bits and pieces. Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Good morning, Belinda. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully I can share some of my tips with you. They're not so much secrets as just sometimes it's luck, but a bit of hard work as well, finding those special deals which all add to help, renovate our. Yeah.
It's so easy to be tempted by what we see on social media as the must-haves. I must have this brand sink. I must have this brand benchtop. I must do this and I must do that.
Yeah.
In the end, our buyers, they come because of the way that a property presents online. They buy by feel. And if you can create that feel and that same look, but not spend those high-end prices, then that really adds to the profit margin. And I've watched you drive up and down the freeway to Sydney, picking up the bargains that you collect along the way. So let's get into it. So where do you typically shop for your renovation supplies?
So typically nowadays, my go-to is a place called Renovator Auctions down in Liverpool in Sydney. They are a real auction house, and I like to stress that be careful just because someone calls their business auction or depot doesn't mean that they have the best prices. So I guess the most important thing is also to know your price, know what the retail price for a product is, because then how do you know you're going to get a bargain? But your renovator auctions, they have two auctions, one on Saturdays, which is your home stuff. So like the bathrooms, taps, tiles, kitchens. They do kitchens as well, but you're stuck with the designs that they have, although you can tweak them a little bit. You know, secondhand washers, dryers, washing machines, barbecues. So they've got very, very good range of product. And then on Wednesday, they have their building auctions, which is where you can pick up like your decking boards, your shiplap, paint. With COVID, there were a lot of companies that obviously went bust. So a lot of Taubmans, Wattle came in, lounges, doors, windows, can pick up some fantastic doors for, you know, a smidge of the price. So that's my first one. And I usually sign up to a newsletter and they send out the auction catalogue the night before.
Yeah, I've looked through it. It's quite exciting.
Yeah,
Very
and
easy
some
to spend a long time on that.
Yeah, and they've got to be better. There are pictures for most things on there, so you can actually see what the product looks like if you can't make it down there. They also allow you to make absentee bids. So because I've been there quite often, I kind of know the quality of the product. If not, I'll usually just jump in my car and drive down there and have a look at it as well if I've got the time. So yeah, back to your question. Renovator auctions, Bunnings, I would recommend people sign up and get a power pass. That just gives you 5% of everything.
Yeah.
Get to know, especially if you have an ABN. So, if you have an ABN and that goes across, like you've already mentioned, across a lot of companies, sign up as a trade customer to get anywhere from 5 to 30% off products.
I think that's the first big step.
And even though if it's 5%, even if they go on sale, you can sometimes get extra as well. But 5% do add up. 5% of a cent of a tap of something else, and you've saved enough to maybe buy an extra tap that you need, or something else. So don't discount the fact that it might only be 5%.
Yeah, and some places will offer you more. Like I've had 25% trade.
Talk to
trade
them.
up. Yeah.
Talk to them. If you don't ask, the great old saying, if you don't ask, you don't get. What's the worst that can happen? They can say no. So Bunnings, also get to know a trade specialist, because once they see you in there often and they, learn what you do, they are more than happy to see if they can, tweak the prices a little bit more for you and do a little bit of a better deal for you. So it's not stuck with just the 5%. You can sometimes, there's a bit more margin for them to play with. So renovator options, Bunnings. I do go on to eBay now as well. I've ordered for the last 3 or 4 renos. I've ordered sinks and taps. So I've gotten to know the sites that I'm happy with, and I'm happy with the quality and the service. What else? Marketplace, appliances online. Probably the biggest ones are renovator options and Bunnings. I generally tend to find most of my stuff that way. If I'm having a bit of trouble, I'll then go to Marketplace, or I don't want to spend too much, Marketplace, eBay. And then I'll look at other stores like Temple and Webster for some of the more high-end items or trickier items that I'm looking for. But pretty much they're my go-to, I think.
So what about local stores? Do they all get to know, because you're a consistent renovator, do they get to know that, and do they offer you specials, or do you have to ask?
The ones where I should probably mention National Tiles. They've gotten to know me quite well, and and another local tile shop around here up on the Central Coast. So they know me quite well, so they can tweak things a little bit. I find sometimes they're not as keen to offer you a discount. So you just got to time it, I think. If the Facebook's the news advertising of the day to day. So you see a lot of ads come up. So just as an example, I've never dealt with them before, but I need to get blinds for this house. And some window furnishings. Now, I got Winston to come out. I've dealt with them a few times, but it's not the normal store I deal with. They were happy to pass on a discount, but the guy that came out to measure, I just felt like he thought it was too hard, because I have some tricky windows here, hard, and he just didn't want to do it. And he basically said, "Oh, just let the new owners do it." And I just went, "Well, that's not how I work, mate." But anyway, off you go. So I did a quick online search for blind companies in the area, and that's the thing with Facebook nowadays and Google, whatever, they've got these algorithms. So as soon as you look at something, you'll get these ads tailored to what you look at.
Agree.
So this ad came up for this local blinds company. They're just down here at Wyong, and they're having a buy one, get one half price sale. I went, all right, well, I'll get them out to have a look. She managed to get a better deal. She gave me, normally she said they do 20% off. And she was brilliant. She came in, measured up, nothing was a problem. And I said, "Oh, can you do a little bit better? I noticed you've got a bit of a sale on Facebook at the moment." She goes, "Oh, we normally give 20%, but I'll give you 25. And I went, "Great, that's good." But then when the quote came through, I noticed it was even a little bit more. So so you just got to ask, I guess. So the smaller store.
And if you don't ask, you don't get. It's such a good statement from you.
Right.
But
it's really hard.
Yeah, in our
Because I think
culture, we're not used to
in
it.
our culture, we don't haggle. So,
Yeah,
that's the price. So that's kind of
yeah,
what we paid. But I'm sort of, trying to just push that feeling aside and go, well, if I don't, what's the worst they can say is they can say, oh, no, that's our best price. So, like, case in point, I had to buy a range hood and a cooktop because auctions just didn't have that brand and I wanted to match it to the stove and the dishwasher. And I said, oh, is that the best you can do? And we got 3 items and he went, oh, I can do this for. So we got a little bit extra off. So it's always a good idea to say, oh, and wear your shirt
we,
if you have
yeah,
one to make it
yes,
look like you are serious. You're not
yeah.
just home DIY. Business cards with me as well when I remember to put them in my pocket. But yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get. So even a small store up to a big store like Harvey Norman, go in there and ask.
What
Yeah.
about second-handy stuff? You don't mind second-handy stuff? Where do you use that, and where do you go, no, I'm just not going to put this in?
To be honest, we haven't really done a build where I've used secondhand stuff. I've used seconds. So I've bought, an oven or a dishwasher as a second, but that does come with a warranty.
Yeah, and it comes
Um,
with perhaps a dent in the back that no one notices. It's virtually a new
yeah,
product.
or sometimes it's just as simple as the customers change their mind or they bought
Yeah.
something and it doesn't fit. Well, it's not new anymore. So the company just goes, well, it's secondhand. So
Yeah. If you're trying to sell a property for more, I would be really looking at what things appeared to be. So if it looks
yeah,
secondhand, I wouldn't bother. Like if it looks shabby and you're trying to sell it for top dollar, I would walk away from that. But if you've got an Airbnb or if you've decked out a multi-room home for uni students, then that's the time to put
yeah.
your secondhand stuff in because you just know
It
you know it's
definitely
going to
does
cover
depend.
hiding.
Yeah, it definitely does depend on the type of reno that you're doing. Because as you
Yeah.
said, if it's a, for a rental or an Airbnb, you're not going to be buying brand new off the shelf if the second hand, which you get warranty with, looks exactly the same. And I tend to try and stick to well-known brands.
Yeah.
So Westinghouse, Fisher and Paykel, Whirlpool, AEG, those better well-known brands rather than, in Alto, which is a bit of a lesser quality. But if it's, a small 3-bedroom cottage that's, going to go for 800,000, I'm not going to put a Smeg oven in it. I'll put an
Yeah.
Alto oven in it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
works just as so. Yeah. So it depends the quality of the reno that I'm doing as to whether I'll go medium or high end.
Yeah, so the house you're doing at the moment is up on a hill with gorgeous views, and you're going to be asking good money for this property. So you're not going to put cheap, nasty, horrible looking stuff in there. You're going to deck it out appropriately. And
Yeah.
I agree. It's all about the
Yeah.
demographic.
Yeah.
So what are
That's not
your,
to say that I'm not going to look for where I
yeah,
can save money, but
I agree.
um, yeah. But yes, it has to be a little bit more high end. So, slightly better light fittings, slightly better fans.
Correct. Okay, I'll give you an example. I bought light fittings from Temple and Webster for $500, which is still significant for a wall sconce, right? They look amazing. They are an exact copy of ones that I've been desiring for a long time. They're $1,500. Now, $1,500, even in a high-end property, I would not bother paying for. But $500, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get me one of these. And when I showed some people through the other day, they went, oh, I love your light. So there's some things you
Yeah.
might want to spend on, but you can pull back on other things. For example, the
Yeah.
vanity in that room wasn't expensive. So you got to pick and
Yeah.
choose your
Yeah.
battles.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. And yeah, if you can save somewhere else, then you
Yeah.
can put money towards those
Key
particular
items,
items.
the wow things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I've
it
got
is,
a couple of wow things in this place. So I cringe that I have to spend that money, but I know I have to spend that money. So I look elsewhere, see if I can cut back on costs. So,
yeah, me too. You don't
so
spend
I
it
look
every,
on eBay for lights. I look on eBay for taps, like you said, you compare brands. Like you pull one up and go, okay, well, this one's $500, but this one looks exactly the same as
yeah.
it is of good quality. If there's a problem with
Yeah.
it, I can return it, and it's $250. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you go to platforms, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, your
Yeah,
renovation auction store,
yeah.
just looking online, doing some shopping online. So when do you do that? Like you renovate by day. You guys work on the property or you supervise and project manage every day you're there. So at night, is it at night time?
Yeah, and pretty much as soon as we sign the contract, I'm
Yeah,
on online and I'm looking
me
pretty
too.
much from day one.
Yeah,
Because also in the back of my mind, well, I know when the sales are going to be on. Like sometimes a reno doesn't line up with when a sale is on. Uh,
yeah,
Sales all the time.
yep.
Uh,
Black Friday,
yeah,
January sales,
currently at the moment,
spring sale.
October. Yeah,
Yeah,
although it seems to be like the whole month for Black Friday this time, but yeah, October, November, you've got your Black Fridays, Cyber Mondays. Then if your reno's going over the Christmas period, you've got your Boxing Day sales, you've got your June, July stock take sales. So there's always a sale happening. So that's why I start early. I start day one. You've got a pretty much a good idea of what you're going to be doing to the property already because you've walked through it several times.
yeah.
So when you've signed a contract, start looking because all right, I need this for my bathroom, I need this for my kitchen, I need, flooring, I need tiling. So you start looking, start putting mood board together. So planning happens from day one. Yeah.
So you've got your room layout, you've got your plan, right? So you know
Yeah.
what the sizes are, you know what the ceiling height is. You've already decided on a consistent style, and I think that's so important is to really nut out
Yeah.
what style you're going to do consistently right through the home so that there's flow from room to room, and you do that really well, Anne-Marie. But
Although
it's
this house
important
is a
that you get
little
it
bit
right.
tougher. Yeah, this most of the time, yes, you walk through a house and I get a feeling of, yeah, I'm going to do it this way because it's in this area and that's the
Yeah,
vibe I'm getting. This one was a little bit difficult. I didn't quite have an idea of what I wanted to do with it because inside it was such a mishmash of styles. And funnily enough, I had some door handles left over from a previous reno that I couldn't use, but I really loved them because they were a chrome black combination and they look stunning. They look high end. And I really, really love them. And I thought, well, if I use these, and it's sort of built from that. So, okay, so I've got chrome black. So, the house is set in bushland. So I've got greens. Greens really popular right now. And I haven't had a chance to use greens or versions of greens yet. So I was tending more towards that. It's at Umina. So you've got your beach. So then the timbers and those
yeah,
natural textures started coming through. So I sort of started building an idea slowly that way and
yes.
then went to tiles and then from tiles went looking at lights and it sort of gradually built, but I'm really happy with it now. So it was a bit of a process for this one, but yeah, it slowly builds. So, if you're having trouble, just find something that you really love that you want to use and it'll build from that. Yeah, you
And
build your mood board.
start there and build. Yeah, I agree. Whether it be a magnificent piece of art or a particular tile or the color of the doors that you're going to choose, or like it
Yeah.
has to flow from room to room. And once you start, the hardest part I think is starting sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're buying a property that's already got a lot of stuff there and you're just renovating and building and you're not ripping it all out,
Mm.
that to me is easier than when you're faced with something where you have a blank canvas. When you have a blank
Mm.
canvas, you're like, okay, whatever I determine as my first couple of products is going to determine the flow through this entire property. So you really have to nut it out. Mood boards are great for doing that, just to get a visual. Our computers are fantastic these days. Having our phones with us when we shop with photos that we can refer to
Yeah.
of the things that we've already bought and we're building from. Whereas years ago, I don't even know how I did it years ago. What did I
Uh,
do? I used to just walk into shops and guess colors, and now you've
yeah.
just got so much at our fingertips. It is so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
you've got to start in a corner. I say you've got to start somewhere and build. So yeah,
especially tiling shops nowadays, they're great. They'll allow you to take a sample or
yeah,
buy a sample. You
yeah,
can, and not just, a little tiny square, they'll give you the whole tile.
yeah.
So I ended up doing that with a couple of them just to see because if it's what's in my head is actually going to look in real life. So
Yeah.
afraid to ask for samples or even buy samples, because that's a good way of getting a feel for it in the lighting that you have in your home as well, because that
Yeah.
affects. Mm.
Yeah. So, okay, is there something that you've bought in the past where you've gone, yes, I snagged a magnificent bargain with this?
Yeah. Funnily enough, I was thinking about that, and I have managed to find something for every reno so far. So my very first big sort of deal, which wasn't much, but it's really exciting when you find it.
Yeah, it's a little win.
Believe it or not, was a letterbox. I had to get a letterbox, and I was just flipping, looking, and I saw one, and it was on Bunnings website, and it was $10, and I went, "Is that a mistake? That's unusual. They're normally like 150 or something dollars." It was a Centerford, good quality. It was
Yes.
$10. So I went into the store and I went, "Is this true? It's $10. Have you got these?" And apparently what had happened is some guy bought like 250 of them or something and then went out of business, couldn't sell them. So Bunnings bought them all back. So they had like 250 that they had to get rid of. So they were selling them for $10. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I'll have
Off it
that.
came home. So that was the very first bargain. But I got a $1,100 single pane window textured glass door for
Yeah.
laundry in Gondolin for $100. The auction house. Sometimes it is about being lucky and being, Johnny on the spot. They just had this one door. They wanted to get rid of it. It was going for $100. Yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Still had the price sticker on it, $1,100. So
I think you underplay the Johnny on the spot, Anne. So if you're active, if you're actively there and you're in the shops and you're searching and you're online, then you're going to notice things. You're not going to notice things if you're actually not actively looking.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Once you start looking,
Yeah.
yeah, that RAS, reticular activator, whatever it's called, it kicks in, and yeah, you'll pick up on these things.
So
Yeah,
our
but
biggest bargain.
National Tiles Reno, which was over the Black Friday sale. So because of the amount that I bought, I ended up saving like $3,500 on tiles, which was great.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for this house, when I was at the auction place, they had a Gareth Ashton stainless chrome bath floor mixer.
Yes.
And I paid, so it retails for about $1,400 and I paid $168.
Yeah.
So brand new, still in the box, still had the price sticker on it, still had the sale sticker on it. So it was like over $1,000, and the sale on it sticker on it was like $600, and I got it for $168. So win.
Fantastic. We bought
Yeah,
a
it is
marble.
important to know your prices.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and when I'm at the auction and I see something, I check out the box to see what brand it is. Then I do a little Google search so I
Google.
know exactly what price it is, so that I know what I'm prepared to bid for it.
Yeah, all the time. And some places too, if you actually bring up a price on your phone of a competing store and you say, look, Bingley have this for such and such, or Harvey Norman have this for such and such, they'll match price. They will
Yeah.
match price.
Yeah.
The worst thing they could say is you go there and buy it. Well, then you
Yeah.
go there and buy it. But, they
That's
usually
right.
don't match price. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my biggest
Well,
bargain, marble bath, it retailed at $4,000 and we got it $4,000. Oh, probably even better than that. The house we just sold beforehand, or ages ago, 10 years ago now, but this is the biggest bargain because we bought a lot. Limestone tiles were all the rage. They were $200 per square meter for these gorgeous limestone tiles. A guy in North Sydney ordered, I don't know, 80 square meters of them. He had like pallets and pallets of them. When he turned up to view them, they had a slight vein through them that he didn't like, and he wanted all one consistent pale color inside his house. So we refused to buy them. We bought those tiles at $29 per square meter. So we just picked up the whole lot of them and we took them to Brett's boss's factory and said, excuse me, can we use the corner of your factory for a few months? He was good enough to allow us to store them there. So we paid for the transport, but honestly, these amazing tiles, they went in our pool cabana, they went on our back veranda, they went down the side lane of a house. We never would have used limestone tiles down the side lane of a house, but
you can afford them normally. That's right.
that's right. But they were luxe and they really lifted the whole value of the home. They were just beautiful. And yeah, that saved us thousands, but was really instrumental in helping us sell that house for more. So yeah, you got to look out, that we just found that on Facebook Marketplace, just an ad one night. So we just said yes and went for it.
Yeah.
Made it
A friend
happen.
of mine, they just bought a house, little cottage, and I told her about my place, and she ended up picking up one of those LED light doors. She's got a little cottage, so it would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
$100. The owners
Yeah.
found it in the back shed.
Ah,
So she's like,
that's just fantastic. Yeah, other people's junk is somebody else's treasure for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't be afraid, like when you are doing a reno, to actually, when you are pulling out stuff that's of reasonable quality that you can't reuse, sell it on Marketplace. That's more dollars in your kitty to buy your stuff for your reno. So I've sold, the two vanities from here, and yeah.
I
So
agree.
don't think that it all has to end up in landfill. Just put it on Marketplace, see what happens. I've sold the laundry sink, the kitchen sink. Yeah.
I agree. So much like demo guys come in with the mindset of chucking it all in the skip bin. So yeah,
Yes.
if you
Yes.
can pull a few bits and pieces out
Yeah.
and sell them first, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Reuse some of the things that are appropriate for the style of your house. We're keeping a big light and reusing it. We've had it done up already.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways to save. How do you find hidden gems in things like, your tip shop, your Salvation Army, your Vinnie's?
I have
Do
to
you go
say,
there at all? Do you shop there at all?
if I was looking for artwork, like if I was going to style myself, I probably would go to those places. But no, I can't say that I go hunting around in those places for stuff for my reno. So can't answer that one, but I don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I do a bit. It's more like if I'm wandering through and I see something that I think will
Mm,
be great, I'll buy it, but I don't on purpose either because
no,
I find you've got
yeah,
to, there's just no easy way other than walking through the store, getting on the ground and going row by row to find what you need. A lot of them don't advertise very much online, and a lot of them are run by volunteers. And so it's more difficult, I think, to find bargains there. But if you do, I don't mind doing things up. So $2 shops will do it as well. I'll pick up a lot of
yeah,
styling stuff from $2 shops and Kmart, mix and match, some
yeah,
stuff from Freedom, stuff from Kmart, stuff from Adairs
yes,
when it's on
yeah,
special, and just really mix and match it throughout a home, and no one can really identify where it's come from, and it doesn't look cheap when you throw it all together and you do it in a very
mm,
considered way.
yeah. When you have a few items, yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't. It blends in reasonably well. So yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Because it would be more for styling items, but yeah, most of the stuff I tend to just look online and just wander through shops and just go to my regular suppliers now.
Yeah, so much online. Ordered a vanity for this house here, and its quality and the
Mm,
way it looks absolutely surprised me. It was just,
mm,
I bought that online. I can tell you from where, I can't remember. Blue Space
yeah,
or one of those
yeah.
sites.
Yeah, I just did a search on Marketplace because I was trying to see if I could find some vanities for this house. And I found a young gentleman who used to be a kitchen cabinet maker, and
Yeah.
now he's branching out into designing custom made vanities. So I've got him to design or make three vanities that I need for here. So, and good quality, Polytech cabinetry, vanity tops as well. And because I had to have custom sizes, it's not like,
Yes.
the walls, you measure your wall, okay, 900 feet, you measure your wall. No, it's actually 895. So you can just chop a bit off your standard vanity. So
Yeah.
I've got him to custom make those, and they'll look pretty good, I think,
Yeah, I
along the
bet.
line quality
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I think they will too. They're being fitting with the whole vibe of the house.
Yeah, and the same laminate that the walk-in robe cabinetry and the kitchen cabinetry is going to be made out of. So it creates that continuous flow through the
Yeah.
house. So yeah, so you can, Marketplace isn't just for stuff people don't want. People who are making things are on there
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, it's worthwhile
So
checking it out.
what advice would you give somebody who was just starting a renovation for the first time and they really were on a tight budget?
Plan.
Yeah.
As soon as you sign that contract, you start planning because you've got, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what settlement period is to really nut everything out, go looking to start making your lists. And what I tend to sometimes do is I take snapshots like off my screen and dump them into like a Word document, publish a document with a price, just to start building up the products I'm thinking of using. Get onto your Caboodle kitchen planner or IKEA planner, and get onto your Reese 3D planner and start your measurements. And if you generally talk to your real estate agent, they'll let you win a couple of hours to go through, measure up all your rooms, start designing your kitchen, start designing your bathrooms and a laundry, so you've got an exact idea of the cabinetry that you need and where you're going to put sinks and ovens, and you start looking. So plan. So by the time you get keys, you know exactly what you need. You may even have started buying stuff. Yeah, and know your prices and start looking. Yeah, get your design sorted out so you know exactly where your taps are going, where your outlets are going. So if you have to move plumbing, your plumber knows, you stick that plan up on the wall in that room. So when he's doing his roughing, he knows exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
It'd be a good idea to have your vanities and your taps and your showers before he does the roughing, so that they can measure up exactly the heights that they need to go to. Because let me tell you, once it's tiled, you ain't moving that plumbing.
You're not doing anything different with that tower, that tap,
No,
that shower rail.
no,
It's in.
yeah,
It's in the wall. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I
planning
agree.
is have everything
Yeah.
as much as you can, have it planned out, have those design ideas in your head, start looking, start saving pictures, so that
Okay.
come day one, you can tell, if you're doing the demo, you know what's happening. If you're getting someone else to do the demo, then they've got a clear idea of the design that you're working with.
And I think to be flexible, if you turn up to a store and you fall in love with something and you've had your heart set on it and it's not available for 12 weeks or 16 weeks, or it's coming from overseas, you don't want to hold up your tradies. So what's your plan B? Go straight to choose another item, and just, especially if it's a property that you're going to flip, then, drop the emotional attachment, go straight to plan B.
Yeah, plan B, or order the stuff early. Like for this house, the fireplace that we needed a tunnel one, which means it's visible from both sides. There was only one in the country, and there was quite a long lead time for it. Now I needed to have it because I needed to build the wall. So I made sure I ordered it early, so that by the time, and I got the specs. So when they built the wall, built it to the specs, and then by the time, 2 months later, when it was available, we could then check to make sure that the cavity was the right size and it would fit. But I knew that it wasn't available for a while, so I ordered it quite early. Now I could have saved $700 and waited until the Black Friday sales were on, but I'd rather make sure I'd rather it was important that it fit when they were building the wall before it all got plastered and tiled and whatever else. Yeah, so, and then the light that I got from my stairwell.
Yes.
Now that was a hard one. There was nothing in the country that was really what I had in mind.
To paint a picture for you guys, Anne-Marie and Stuart at the moment are doing up a gigantic house, something that somebody else had been unable to complete. Builders, owners, no money to finish, I think was the backstory of that one. But basically it was abandoned, and you guys came in there, and your job is to finish it to, to a high quality, because it's a high quality home, or will be when it's completed. And so the stairwell is huge. That ceiling height is just
it's 6.8 high, I
yes,
think.
yeah.
So it has to be a statement piece. I mean, it's such a grand entryway. It has to be a statement piece. So I've been looking at chandeliers and spiral lights, and an idea sort of started forming that I wanted a spiral look because it is so tall.
Yeah.
Everything was a bit glitzy and not the right style. And then I came across this website, and they had this beautiful spiral pendant light, but it was only available from China. So it was a case of, do I take a risk? getting it ordered direct from China, how long is it going to take and whatever. And I looked through some reviews and they didn't have any bad reviews. Everyone said, came. But again, it was being aware of how long it was
Yeah.
going to take from order to delivery.
Yeah.
So, and given the price, I mean, it was half price at the
Yeah.
time anyway. So like from $3,000, it came down to $1,500.
Yeah.
I went, I'm willing to spend that. I did have a plan B through
Yeah.
a local company. It wasn't my first choice, but it was a plan B if that one didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I ordered it. They said it would take about 8 weeks to arrive. 8 weeks on the dot, they're here. So I've already
Fantastic.
got the light. So it then comes down to a case of if you know how long something's going to take to get in because it's out of stock or you're ordering it from overseas or the
Yes.
company's ordering it from overseas, order it early so that so then you still got enough time for plan B if plan A doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic advice. What's your, yeah, go on.
What I found this year is eBay.
Yeah.
If you select an item and add it to your watch list, give it about 24 hours a day or two, they'll send you a message to say, oh, we're offering you an extra 5%, or they're making you an offer to buy the item at less than what it was when you were looking at it. So that's a handy little trick sometimes as well, just to put a couple of items that you want in your watch list and see what the vendor comes back. So yeah, I think it's fairly consistent. But I've done that with a couple of things like towel rails and toilet roll holders, and I go, oh, okay, well that's another $10 off that. Sure, I'll buy it now
Yeah.
rather than
Look,
buying it
what
all at
I've
once.
done is rather than head to all the sites and Google, say, towel rail for a bizarre example, but rather than do that, what I do is you Google for the product and you Google for the price and see what comes up. That'll throw some sites up and then you go into it. Like there's lots of ways of searching to cut down your time. But in the end, you have to be Johnny on the spot.
You
You have
do,
to be actively looking.
and sometimes eBay as well has got, $100 off, or
Yeah.
some companies have got, if you buy three, we'll give you an extra 15%, or yeah. So just have a look at what offers are on there as you're ordering. And don't be afraid to order items separately to get double the discount, because that's what I did for baths last time. Baths discounted, you got $100 off. But if you order them both at the same time, you only got
And get the
$100 off.
100 off.
Separately, got $100 off each one. So,
Up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
thinking, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thanks,
Cheap,
Anne-Marie.
that's $100 tack.
Oh, so good. But you're so right. What you save on one thing, you can apply to something else and you can keep your renovation looking amazing and you can put a great home together. You can take it to market being consistent and beautiful and somebody fall in love with it and pay you a whole lot of money. So that's the game in the end. Or tenants really enjoy their space, whether it be Airbnb or just, your renters. So but it's very, very, we probably just made it sound like hard work, but it is, shopping's a lot of fun. So shopping for shoes, clothes, or fixtures and fittings, same. So it's a lot of fun and it's very
Yeah.
challenging.
Now, and if you're prepared and you plan,
Yeah.
unless it's a big monstrosity, which can overwhelm you a little bit,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult. You just be prepared to spend the time to do that.
To do it. Yeah, it's part of it. All right. So let's end on a positive note from Anne-Marie. What's your favorite part of the renovation process?
Can I say the end?
Yeah, you can.
No, I'm kidding. It is for me. I know for Stuart, but for me, it's the planning, it's the design, and it's the shopping, and funnily enough, it is the ends in terms of seeing what was in your head, seeing fit
all come together.
it all come together. So it is a process. Those are the bits that I like the best.
Yeah.
Stuart loves the hands-on stuff.
Yeah, he's a DIY guy.
He's a DIY guy. He leaves the DIY, the shopping to me, and the colours choices to me. But yeah, the planning, I love the planning.
Yeah.
Get getting into caboodle and designing the kitchen and how everything fits in there, and colours, and the shopping, getting
The
the
whole
bargain.
lot, virtually. There you go.
Getting the bargain's always good. Getting in under budget or just slightly over budget without blowing it too much, but knowing that you've picked up a few, special pieces along the way. So
Yeah. The challenge of it all.
Yeah.
To the end of it.
As long as it doesn't drag on for too long.
Oh, no, I agree. All right. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for sharing those amazing tips. I know that everybody's in the same boat. We're all trying to put together beautiful homes, and, none of us have millions and millions to spend, or maybe somebody does, but, it's real easy. It's actually no challenge when you've got a lot of money to spend on a renovation. Most of us are shopping for bargains, and I know that what you helped us with today, the tips you gave, are really valuable. Thank you.
And just because it's a bargain doesn't mean that it's not quality.
I agree.
As long as you confirm that you can return it if something's wrong with it, you can. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought now. Warranty. Most of the reputable companies that do seconds or auctions, the products come with a warranty. And when you buy taps and things like that, just make sure that you've got that watermark rating on them.
Yeah, so they're Australian standard approved.
Yeah,
fantastic. Thank you, Anne-Marie. All right, guys. Anne-Marie's based in the Central Coast. Her and Stuart are phenomenal renovators. You are so welcome to contact them directly via their website at dreamrenos.com.au or through me if you can't remember what their website is. Thanks so much, Anne, for joining us. You're a beautiful part of my renovation community, and thanks for sharing all of your tips with everybody on YouTube and our podcast.
Thanks, Belinda. More than welcome. More than welcome. I love this stuff. We all love it.
We're renovators.
Yeah, that's it. No, thank you very much. And I hope it's been of some help to everyone out there.
Yeah, it has.